Hello and welcome to this new episode. Welcome to the mess and welcome to my balcony. This is really new and I'm actually more nervous than usually because actually people can watch me. I don't see anyone, but in my neighborhood you don't see the people, but they always see you and they're like, "Oh, I saw you there, you did that and that." And I'm just like, "How?" But anyway, a lot of people can see me on YouTube, so who cares? I hope the sound quality is alright because there is background noise, but we'll see about that. I think that the setting is really pretty. I invested a lot of time in that. I'll post a photo on Instagram because it's really funny how I set this up. Also, you can hear from my voice, I'm really excited because I haven't been doing podcasts in 3 weeks now. That's because I was really busy. Also, I wasn't in a good mood, so I'm really happy to be back. Today's episode is about anxiety. So a friend of mine who doesn't speak German might need this episode. Or maybe not, but at least I'll try. So he can't speak German, that's why the episode is in English. And I hope for all the German speakers that's okay too. So have fun, enjoy! Welcome to the mess.
On the surface she looks fine, but what's inside ain't always in line. Life is good, life is bad. She's a mess, but a happy one.
Hi, I'm Little Happy Mess and welcome to my podcast. Quoting myself. I feel so cold, so empty. I want to feel again. I need to. I can't. I can't take being numb anymore. I can't face all that anxiety anymore. The shield I had broke so long ago. I don't know how to fight it. They don't teach you this in school. I feel so dead inside. There's nothing left inside of me but anxiety. So much anxiety. Story time. So, I'm actually not sure if I've already quoted this, but anyway, it's really good because I really like this text because I remember the feeling, and there's also tears in there. So it was actually a really sad time, or a really emotional time. That's how I would call it. Anyway, so another friend now, asked me to do an episode about anxiety because she wants me to raise awareness for the topic because so many people don't know about it, or they do but they can't relate. So it's very different knowing the theory about anxiety than actually experiencing severe anxiety. And then I was like, but I was never diagnosed with anxiety. I don't know about it. And guess what? That's not true. Because I had a really long think about it. And the thing is, when I'm anxious, I don't write down. I don't talk. I don't talk to therapists. I don't talk to doctors. So no one could ever diagnose me with anxiety because I don't talk about it, or I never did. Because the thing is, depression for me, it's kind of like my new normal. So I can talk about it because being sad is kind of socially accepted, and everyone can, at least superficially relate to it. But when it comes to anxiety, it's so irrational. It's really hard to grab for people, and it's also really hard to grab for yourself because there's this feeling inside of you, and you feel so ridiculous when you speak it out. Like, I'm scared of going out. And then you ask yourself, but why? And then the same person that still you replies, I don't know, I'm just scared. So there's just this, you're scared, but it's a constant feeling. So you're scared of getting out of bed. Even though you do it every day, you're scared of brushing your teeth, even though it's brushing your teeth, it's super normal. You do it every day. You're scared taking the bus, going by bike, answering the phone, things that are super common and simple, or that your neighbor might greet you, which you actually like, but not now because maybe you stop being able to talk or whatever. Like you're just scared of the future, but with future I mean every second in the future. And anxiety is actually a feeling that is in the future. So right in this moment there can't be anxiety because you're always scared of something that lies in the future. So the key is to stay present, but that's easier said than done, like many things. So I do know about anxiety, but of course not all forms. And yes, what's really important is that you yourself feel really ridiculous, and that it's really hard to talk to people about it because they don't understand. I remember telling 2 friends that I was really scared of men for a while, and they were like, yeah, but why? And I was like, I was explaining them because I had a bad experience, but nothing really happened. But they don't understand. They didn't understand because nothing really happened. But I remember being so scared that if you would have touched me in that moment, like say hi and touch me, I would have exploded. And yeah, but it's hard to understand when you're not in it. Same with depression. When you're not in it, even though you've experienced it, it's harder to understand because you can't remember the feeling, obviously, because you're not in it right now. If you're in a really good mood, it's really hard to imagine being in your worst place. And same goes with anxiety. When you're very like powerful and you're not scared and you're like, I'm gonna go out there and be my awesome self. When you're in that mode, you don't understand anxiety, especially not if someone comes up to you and says like, I'm scared of going shopping, and you're just like, man, you do that every day or every second day. And you see the person and he or she is really scared. Like this could be me. I'm scared of shopping, like grocery shopping. But like, what would a normal person say? What? Like, I don't know. It's really hard to imagine when you're not in it. So, anyway, because I wasn't sure about the topic, I interviewed 2 friends. So they talked me through their experiences with anxiety disorder, because I have never been diagnosed with anxiety disorder. So they told me a bit about it, and they also told me about panic attacks, because that's something I only experienced superficially and I observed. But personally, I wouldn't say I've had like a real panic attack. So they gave me their personal experience. So when I'm scared, it like, or when anxiety hits, it like crawls up inside, and it starts with my chest, like crumbling. Like it's there's tension in my chest, and I don't realize. So it takes a while until I realize, oh, this is anxiety. But the time in between, so the time between anxiety hitting and realization that this is anxiety is really crucial, because in that period of time, I'm watching everything, or I'm experiencing everything through a filter, like a high alert danger filter. And this filter is like super sensitive. So everything that's bad, it like I can soak it up really quickly. I think my brain does that to provide all information about the environment possible, but it soaks up everything inside, and it makes me even more scared. And if I don't realize quickly, then this is like a pot like starting to cook, and then it cooks over. And this might sound crazy, but people who are empaths understand that, because when you're empathic, the good thing is that you can feel what other people feel. So you kind of see their emotions because you feel them. But if you're too empathic, then the emotions of other people become your emotions. And that's really dangerous, because you start feeling feelings that don't belong to you. And this happens to me really often, usually when I'm in this high alert state. then when I talk to somebody and the person is in a negative mood or has bad energy or bad vibes, however you want to call it, I start feeling them. And it feels like it belongs to me, even though it doesn't, because it's a different kind of feeling. Everybody's just like, what the fuck? But it's true. I swear this is legit. Anyway, so the period is crucial. And then I realize it's anxiety, and then I can do something about it. So now I want to tell you what's happening in the brain. So again, this is not a science explanation. This is just me putting pieces together, and if you know what actually happens, or if you have like more information about it, I'm super happy if you hit me up and correct me or give me more insight, because it's very interesting for me. And if I say something wrong, I'd love to provide the right information. But if you listen to what I say, I think it makes sense in your head as well. And I'll just start now. So when anxiety hits, that's because your limbic system, so when we go back to the episode about natural healing, go to the episode about natural healing. It's episode 7, I think, and it's German. So there I talked about the limbic system, which is our emotion, our center for emotions. So this center triggers or gets a signal. This could be a situation, so a visual experience. This could be a feeling, a smell, like any kind of sense, a touch, whatever. And it goes back in time where we've experienced some kind of trauma related to that smell, to that touch, or whatsoever. And what's really important here is that this trauma doesn't have to be something that you would call traumatic now, because that's something you might have experienced as a kid. Maybe you know it, but maybe you just don't know about it, and you're like, why am I feeling this? But maybe when you were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like an age you don't remember, you've experienced something that at that time was life-threatening. And life-threatening for a 4-year-old is different than life-threatening for a 26-year-old. So when you're 1, for example, and your parents leave you for, let's say, 5 hours, then you think you're gonna die. So when a baby cries, like a small baby now, and the mom, or in that case the mom, doesn't come, it cries for its life, because it doesn't know that the mom's gonna come back, and that's already a traumatic experience. People don't realize that. They think that babies don't know what's happening, but that's the most crucial time between 0 and 6, because that's when babies and then kids soak in everything. And they can't filter, because they don't understand. They just learn by observing and by feeling. So this time is really crucial. So a trauma could have developed in that time or later. Maybe you even consciously know about it. So your limbic system got triggered, and then your limbic system sends signals to your stem brain. Your cortex, so the rational thinking, is already off. Like, that guy is not involved anymore. And then the stem brain activates fight-flight mode, which we talked about already, and sends signals back to the nervous system, in that case the sympathetic nervous system, and increases blood pressure, increases heart rate, increases tension in the muscles, heartbeat gets faster, and I already said that. And you're ready for fighting or running away. And now we're adding a third dimension, which is the freeze mode, because there's actually 3 modes, and I didn't include the freeze mode last time, but I'm smarter now. Anyway, so we are ready to fight a tiger now. Like a tiger that might have been a completely different kind of traumatic experience, but we're ready to fight the tiger. And so the brain is now, it's ready. We're in super high alert danger mode. And now there's 3 options. So if the brain from experience knows it can fight the tiger, it will fight. If the brain from experience knows it can't fight the tiger, but it can outrun it, then it will flee, so flight. And when the brain from experience knows or assumes that we can't fight and we also can't outrun the danger, then we freeze. So our brain paralyzes us. It makes us numb. It numbs us out. Because, and that's the interesting thing, because I was like, why would it do that? And that's because if, let's assume it's the tiger and the tiger bites you, that you don't feel all the terrors that you would feel now. Like, it numbs you out so that you don't feel the pain, to protect your sanity, so that your sanity isn't permanently damaged, because the brain always wants to sustain life as long as it can. And this is a protection method in order to not make you go completely nuts, but just a little bit. So it paralyzes you in order to protect you, because it doesn't know what else to do. It tried everything else, like it went through all the neural processes and stuff. And the second reason why it does that is because it thinks that maybe the aggressor gets bored. So the tiger's like, oh, that's really boring, and walks away. So you freeze out of the danger, or the dangerous situation. And this process of paralyzing is called schism. And schism is a method, your brain protects you, so it cuts that part, that experience off, but it's not gone. This is still here, and this is what could be triggered when there's an anxiety situation, for example. So this could have happened before, when you were a kid, or later, consciously, unconsciously, whatsoever. So exactly this mode could be the reason you're experiencing this exact situation, or like similar situation again. And for me, for example, schism is like my protection mode. So when something terrible has happened in my life, or still does, it's gone better, but I cut it off. So let's say yesterday happened something bad. Today I would know something happened, but I wouldn't be able to tell you what happened exactly. I could tell you it wasn't good, but I wouldn't be able to tell you why and what happened in detail, because I will block it out. And that's the problem for me, because then I get into those situations again and again and again, because I don't remember and I don't trust my feeling, because my feeling would tell me something's wrong. But a feeling is hard to grab, especially when you're like, yeah, but everything's okay, because you don't know. But really your feeling knows. So that was a small excursion into my brain. And yes, so this is anxiety and part of anxiety disorders, and then there's also panic attacks, and there's also phobia. So phobia would be being scared in crowds, for example. There's all different kinds of names. I really don't know them in English. And then there's panic attacks. So when you have a panic attack, same like your stem brain is triggered, and your limbic system. It could have been because of a traumatic experience too. It could have been pressure. It could have been stress. It's like, so my friends described it to me, because I personally don't know it that detailed, or I haven't like fully experienced it. But your chest, like you get this feeling in your chest as well, just much stronger. It also gets harder to breathe. And one friend described it like your brain freezes, so you can't rationally think about stuff anymore. And you fight for survival, so you think you're about to die, and you aren't. So you're fighting for your life, while from the outside it looks like nothing happened. Wisdom. Yes, so now we've talked about a lot of things, and it's hard to provide like wisdom for anxiety, because I think it's really different for everybody. But yes, I think there are some methods that could help anybody, but you have to try what works best for you. But what's important for every disease and for every disorder is acceptance. And that's what my interview partners also said, which I really liked, because that's what we all three had in common. That we said, when you accept it, it doesn't go away right away, but it gets less. When you accept that there is an anxious part of you, then this part gets less intense. Like it's not that big anymore, and it's easier to handle. A panic attack never lasts longer than 20 minutes. If you get another panic attack, that's because you're scared of being scared. And when acceptance hits after the first panic attack, it can already stop, because you can't have a panic attack for longer than 20 minutes because you would die. So if you're having a panic attack for 2 hours, it's actually a few separate, like, I don't know how many panic attacks, and you can stop it after the first one if you learn how to deal with it, how to find a mechanism that helps you when you're in this situation. And an actress I really like said, her name is Annalyn McCord, and she said something really important about your inner kid, because this is really crucial for anxiety, depression, whatsoever. So while you're up in your head, like in the front part of your head, making all those rational adult decisions, there's always a kid in the back of your head asking, but why? And this kid, this is the anxious kid, this is the sad kid, this is the angry kid, because it doesn't understand why you do the things you do. Like, you're like, and I need to do this, and then I need to do the washing, and then I need to do the cleaning, then I need to feed the kids, whatsoever. But there's a little kid inside of your head that just wants to play sometimes. It wants to relax. It wants to do nothing. And when you don't listen to it, it will force its way into your life, because it's part of you. So if you start integrating your little Nina or your little whoever you are, it gets easier. And also, if you've upset your inner kid, just like, I really do this. I imagine lying next to the little Nina and I hug her. I'm just like, everything's gonna be okay. You're gonna be fine. I'm really sorry that I did too much, or I did this that way. I did this because of that. I'm sorry. I'll try to make it up to you. And it's like giving her candy or chocolate or chips, because it's little Nina and I love chips. And this is really important, and this is part of acceptance. Then what's also helpful is routines, rituals, journaling. I journal every day. I really do this. I'm not just saying that to sound cool. I journal every day. And I meditate every day, in the morning and in the evening. I've been a bit sloppy in the evening for a few days now, but no, it's not true. I started 3 days ago to go back to routine. No, I'm good. Meditating morning and evening. I'm journaling. I'm having my morning ritual. I'm doing a course right now. And so I take like half an hour in the morning and half an hour in the evening to do my rituals, because that grounds me, and it's really good. It helps me with anxiety and depression. And breathing techniques are really good. So I enjoy doing like, you breathe in and count until 8. Then you hold your breath and count to 4. Then you exhale and hold your breath until 4 again, and 8, 4, 8, 4. And at first you can't do it for 8 full seconds, but you'll get better at it. And I also like mantras. You can sing them yourself, or you can speak them out, or you can just look them up. They really help me because I really focus on the sounds, and then I can't think about something else. So these are things that help me in general. These are things that help a complete sane person as well, because it's just generally you doing something for you. You're doing something to calm you, to activate the parasympathetic system, which is really good, especially if you have a stressful life or if you are in a stressful situations. Those rituals will really calm you. And then in acute situations, or I also do it sometimes just to practice it, because all techniques you have to practice when you're feeling good. Because when you're feeling bad, you can't think like, oh, what do I need to do again? Because you can't think like that. So I like EFT, which is emotional freedom technique. It's a tapping technique. I include a video in the further material section, but it's really good because you tap certain points of your body. It's from traditional Chinese medicine, and it really calms you down because you work with your body that is so tense, and it relaxes, and that relaxes your brain because you can only concentrate on the tapping and not think about something else. And what helped my friend was progressive muscle relaxation. I've never tried it so far. Maybe it helps you. And then one breathing technique I find helpful when I'm anxious, but I don't know if it's something for everybody. But you breathe in, and then you breathe in until you can't breathe in anymore. And this last breath, the last breath you can take, you hold it a bit, and while you do that, you think about something really beautiful, like I'm love, I'm happy, I'm everything, or I don't know, something really positive, and then you breathe out again. And you do that for a few times, because then usually you like that when you're afraid of something, when you're anxious, and now you using that for something positive. This has a name, but I don't know it. I just like using it. Yes, the most important thing I'd like to say at the end, and this is, be kind to yourself and be kind to each other. If you don't struggle with anxiety, maybe your friends do, a relative does, whatsoever. You don't have to understand that person, but just try to be there for them. It's a hard time for people with anxiety because we're having this virus situation and there's a lot of people suffering, and it would be cool if we're just kind to each other, and if we're kind to ourselves too, because we're so harsh to ourselves sometimes. Like me, I'm always forcing myself into my anxieties, and then I'm not even rewarding myself. I'm just pushing myself even harder, and I would never do that to someone else. But it's really important to be kind to yourself too. Be kind to others, be kind to yourself, and always remember this rational part. Everything's logic and everything makes sense, and there's one truth and one reality. We're so much more than this. We're this whole thing and even more than that. Our mind is a tool that we can use, but we're so much more than that. We are emotions. We are living creatures. We have a heart. We have a soul, and we sometimes just don't feel good, and it's important to be there for each other and help each other out. Further material. So like I said, I recommend a video about EFT clapping technique, so emotional freedom technique. I included a short video for you to guide you through. It's a 6-minute videos, and the technique lasts for 3 minutes. So you can watch it real quick and then try and see if it helps you or if you like it or not. and my camera just left me. So I included that, and there's also a second video. This is in German, and it's just generally like he's a Zen master talking about self-love and self-acceptance in a different way than I've heard it before, and I really like that. Yes, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you liked my balcony. I hope it didn't get too dark meanwhile. Yeah, we're having a sunset situation over there. I wish you a great weekend. I'll try to do a new podcast episode every week now, but I can't promise. And I wish you all the best. I wish you so much love. And if you're scared, hit me up with a DM or hit your friends up. Just don't be alone. If you like this episode, hit like, subscribe, go to my Instagram, Little Happy Mess with underscores, and let me know if you have feedback or if you have corrections, further material, ideas, whatsoever. Just tell me. Love you. I love you. Goodbye and